most people don't understand what money is. It should be taught in schools, but it's not. However, because we are transitioning from one form of money into a new form of money, it is critically important that you understand truly what money is and where we are in this transition. Because only gold and silver are sound money that have proven the test of time. But the problem with having a gold and silver backed currency is that it creates restrictions around what governments can do and how much debt they can take on and how much they can spend, which they don't like, right? So they transitioned us back in 1913 into a fiat money. But this is not the first time that that's happened. It's happened well over 4,800 times. So I want to just give you very briefly a lesson, and please, please, please share this. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment. Share, share, share. And let's talk about money. And I'm going to start with the 4 pillars of money, because when they said, okay, well, what do we need to have a money so that the population could specialize? Well, these are the 4 pillars of money. And they're really simple. A unit of account so that you can pay for something, right? A medium of exchange so you can barter with it. A unit of deferred payments so that no matter when you use it, it's the same value as when you earned it. And finally, a store of value so that it's something that can last over generations. Well, gold meets that criteria, but let's take a look at how they transferred us, because only gold does meet the criteria to be a good money. Here's your purchasing power. That means what you can convert this into, or frankly, what you can convert this or this into. So the dollar was created to mimic the 4 pillars, good money. And it's done it pretty well, each one of them. But inflation, and they did this fully knowing, they knew that inflation was going to rob you of your purchasing power over time. And if they can keep that inflation level at 2%, that's what they're looking to do, so that this happens without you realizing it, without you making a change, without you protecting yourself. I think everybody knows that if you try and save $1 today, it will not buy you the same as it used to. So, for governments, inflation is that invisible tax. And they get to repay those debts with dollars that have less and less and less value. For corporations, this enabled them to pay you less, that nominal confusion, when you think you're getting paid more. So for example, 1971, the average wage was $10,290. And today the average wage is something like $63,000. So everybody would say, well, I'd much rather have $63,000 than $10,300. Except that a family of 4 could live with one wage earner on that $10,000 versus today, you need 2 wage earners and you're still paycheck to paycheck. So inflation is what has enabled that income and wealth inequality, those K-shaped recoveries, all of that. The rich keep getting richer, the poor keep getting poorer. This is what they knew when they established this system. And they knew many things, but this is one of them. A sentiment of trust in the legal money of the state is so deeply implanted in the citizens of all countries that they cannot but believe that someday this money must recover a part, at least, of its former value. But it never, ever, ever does. And they knew that too. So there are well over 4,800 different currencies that existed at one time that no longer exist. Because if a government can say this is money, they can also say this is not money. And ultimately what every single government does is they hyperinflate the rest of the purchasing power value out of that money. And that's where we are right now. Just like we were in the Depression at the kickoff, where they did that overnight revaluation and started this whole trend. Now we are at the very, very end of this trend. So let's not mistaken who's going to be next. We're on our way. All this is paper. Or even better, they want to transition us into a purely digital system where we can't even hold our principal in this. Forget the purchasing power. Inflation takes care of that. But at least if you're holding this, you can hold your principal. No. Those days are done. Unless we do something and have this very silent and peaceful revolution into sound money. That's why it's so critical. Because currencies, this stuff from government, this government stuff, never, ever, ever by design regains its purchasing power. But gold has held its purchasing power over time. That's one of the big reasons. So this is 585 BC. 1 ounce of gold would buy a very nice suit of armor. In 1910, 1 ounce of gold, $20 gold piece, would buy a very nice man's suit. What about today? Well, today, guess what? At $26.45 at the moment that I did this, it still buys you a very nice man's suit, period. So can you see that over time, this is proven. Physical gold, they can manipulate anything they want with digital and paper. Physical gold is proven to hold your wealth over time. It is finite, it is decentralized, it is private, and it is indestructible. And it'll make your wealth indestructible as well. This is probably one of the most important videos because you have to understand what the battle is. The battle is for your purchasing power. Here's how you win that battle. It is that simple. Come together. Let's create a global community so we have a seat at the table at the next iteration of money. And until next we meet, please be safe out there.